Your higher path or your higher timeline is your most aligned life path. It's the best life you could possibly live. When you're on your higher path, you live life in flow. You commonly experience synchronicities and you sort of feel in sync or in tune with the universe. The channeled book, Creating Money, Attracting Abundance, states that by choosing your higher path, you will accelerate your growth, aliveness, and abundance. The question though is, how? How can we get onto our higher life's path to thrive and speed up our evolution? So I did my research and here are the 5 things we need to get onto our higher timeline. Are you familiar with the work of Rob Schwartz? He's a hypnotherapist specializing in in-between life regression, and he wrote books like Your Soul's Plan and Your Soul's Gift. And through his work with clients and also mediums, he received many insights regarding how to get onto our higher timeline. So here are some of his findings. Rob says that excitement is one of the most important clues indicating our higher path. To get onto our higher timeline, we must do what excites us and brings us joy. And it sounds easy, but it's not always the case. It's not enough to notice our excitement, we must follow it. Most of us know or have an idea of what we love to do, but we don't always allow ourselves to do it. We make excuses, most often because of fear and insecurity. We may think, I don't have time for this, or I don't know how to do it, or that wouldn't be responsible, or I'll do it later. It happened to me last week. I had the idea to get into freelance journalistic writing, not to report the news, but more to write articles about topics related to wellness and spirituality. When I had this idea, I felt excited until my mind spoiled the party with thoughts like, but I don't have time for this, or I don't know if I can write that well in my second language. And here's the thing, if we put our dreams and desires on the back burner for too long, feelings of anxiety and disappointment will eventually arise. And that's because we are not honoring our dharma, or purpose, or higher path. And that's our soul's way of letting us know. So just remember that your excitement signals that you're going in the right direction. Another clue we're on our higher path, according to Rob's work, is time distortion, or being in a state of flow. That very focused, present, and pleasurable state makes us lose track of time and forget about everything unrelated to what we're doing at that moment. For me, it's when I write, or when I edit videos, or when I walk in nature. So when do you lose track of time? Think of active activities, not passive ones like watching TV or scrolling on Instagram, because those are usually not very constructive. Once you've identified a few activities that get you in a state of flow, then the idea is to do them more often, because these experiences signal that you're getting onto a higher timeline. The third thing is inspiration. So inspiration is a message from spirit. Inspiration actually means in spirit. Inspiration comes from a part of you that is beyond your mind or beyond your intellect. It can be a creative idea, or the impulse to call a friend, or the idea to move to another city. It could also be that you've been working on your computer all day and suddenly you feel the urge to go for a walk and get some fresh air. And again, we often discard inspiration thinking that it's silly or illogical. Like we may think, I can't go for a walk, it's raining, or he must be busy right now, so I don't want to bother him, I'll call him tomorrow. Next time this happens to you, remember that following inspiration gets you onto your higher path. Another key aspect of being on our higher path based on Rob's work is living in a state of gratitude, but it must become our default state, which will likely require more than just writing down 3 things we're grateful for every day. It's also about seeing the positive in every challenge. In his book, Your Soul's Plan and Your Soul's Gift, Rob talks about the importance of seeing the deeper meaning or the larger picture when it comes to our challenges. The deeper meaning is always growth and evolution. Every challenge brings an opportunity to cultivate what he calls divine virtues, like kindness, compassion, forgiveness, or patience. It's not necessarily easy to fully embrace this idea when we're facing a challenge, but we can train ourselves to look for the deeper meaning behind our painful experiences after they happened, like looking back. And the 5th thing we must do to get onto our higher timeline is the most important, and it's the most difficult to do, and it encompasses all the other ones, and it's to choose the most loving option moment to moment. Rob suggests that before we make a decision, we ask ourselves, what would love do? And then do that. Neil Donald Walsh also says something similar in the book series Conversations with God. He recommends asking ourselves, what would God do? And then doing that. And if you don't like using the word God, you can use my higher self, or like Joe Vitale says, the great something. The idea is to act from a place of love as much as possible. Do you know what's the one thing we're asked when passing to the other side? I've heard several people speak about their near-death experiences at conferences, and something almost all of them mentioned being asked while on the other side was, how much have you loved? Rob Schwartz says, we're here to learn to give and receive love. That's the bottom line. Living on our higher timelines means being the most loving version of ourselves that we can be in each moment. It's not always easy, but as Don Miguel Ruiz wrote in the 4 Agreements, we only have to do our best. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you a beautiful day and I'll see you next week.